Hey, so yesterday I went over a quick overview of the basic classes in D&D from my own perspective. D&D 5e from the 2014 versions. We didn't go into a lot of detail because I really think people starting out, you need to be thinking about the type of character you want to be more than the actual mechanics. But next up in the discussion of building out this character, outside of your backstory and things, be races. So you have your class, and that goes hand in hand with your race and your background. There's a lot of race options out there, plenty more than what are covered in the player's handbook. Typically, you would use D&D Beyond as a great reference point. They will give you a quick overview of, and a lot of details actually, of all the different races. But today we'll just be going over some of the basic original ones from the player's handbook in D&D 5e. First up, we have dwarves. So dwarves are going to be medium-sized humanoid, range from about 4 to 5 feet tall, and they live to be about 350 years old. So they've got a little bit longer lifespan. Their mechanical bonus is going to be to your constitution. You'll get a +2 to your constitution, because traditionally they're pretty hardy characters. They will get a little bit more health. They will have that constitution helps them with resisting poison and cold damage and things like that, being generally more hardy. Because they are on the shorter side of medium characters, and they're of a bulkier build, they have a little bit slower of a movement speed. They have 25 feet, where the standard is usually about 30 for a lot of the other humanoids. So they move 25 feet per turn. They do get dark vision. And then, as I said, with their constitution score bonus, just generally being hardy, they have advantage on saving throws related to poison or particular resistances. You'll get more into detail on that when you're actually building your character. If you choose to be a hill dwarf, you will get a bonus to your wisdom score. And if you choose to be a mountain dwarf, they would get a bonus to their strength score. Next up on the list, we have elves. Elves are going to receive a bonus to their dexterity score. They're typically about 6 feet tall. They're tall and slender, so they get a bonus to their quickness, their grace, their movement type things, dexterity score bonus. Their regular movement is still going to be 30 feet. They mature at about 100 years old and live to, on average, about 750 years old. They have dark vision and fey ancestry. They also, because of that, cannot be magically charmed or put to sleep. And then another cool feature that they have is trance. So most of the time when you are long resting, you need to be resting and not doing strenuous activity for 8 hours to gain the benefits of that. Elves only have to rest for 4 hours, and they do it in a trance, so they're not actually asleep. It's more like a meditation. And they can be high elves, which would give you an intelligence score increase. They're basically, highbrow. Wood elves, which will give you a wisdom score increase, and a little bit of a bonus to your walking speed. Dark elves, which have a sunlight sensitivity. These are the drow, typically, and they would receive a bonus to their charisma score. Next up, we have humans. So, humans should be the easiest for their lifespans. They're medium creatures, ranging greatly in height. Their base walking speed is 30 feet. They get an additional language. Some of the other races do as well. And for their ability scores, you can increase each ability score by 1. Next up, we have dragonborns. Dragonborns grow in size to well over 6 feet tall. They're still considered medium creatures. The base walking speed is 30 feet. Their ability score will give you a +2 to your strength and a +1 to your charisma. They're going to be and in different colors based on what their lineage is. So you will be If your lineage is a red dragon, you will have red scales. You will also have a dragon breath feature, a breath weapon feature, and that's going to be based on the color type of dragon that you are. So red, black, blue, green, bronze, copper, gold, silver, white, etc. So each different color is a different type of dragon, and each one is going to have a different type of breath weapon and a different resistance. Well, the resistance will pair with your breath weapon as well. Next up, we have halflings. Halflings will receive a dexterity score increase, so they are going to be small and quick. They generally reach adulthood around 20, and they can live to be a couple centuries old. They average about 3 feet tall, weigh about 40 pounds, and they are small humanoids. Their base walking speed is 25 feet per turn, and they're lucky. So they get to reroll ones in relation to d20 rolls for attack rolls, ability checks, and saving throws. They're also brave, so they will get advantage against being frightened. And then their sub-races include Lightfoot, which will give you a charisma bonus, or Stout, which will give you a constitution bonus. Next up, we have gnomes. Gnomes are one of my favorites. They get an intelligence score increase. So you will increase your intelligence score by 2. They mature around the same rate as humans do. They reach adulthood by about 40, though. And they live to somewhere between 350 to 500 years old. They are between 3 and 4 feet tall. They are also considered small humanoids. Their base movement speed is 25 feet. They have dark vision. For their sub-races, you could be a forest gnome, which will give you a dex score increase of 1, and the minor illusion spell, as well as being able to speak with small beasts. Or alternatively, you could be a rock gnome, which will increase your constitution score and give you artificer's lore and tinkerer as additional features. Next up is the half-elf. So half-elves are typically half human, half elf, but half elf, they will get a charisma score increase of +2, and 2 other abilities you can increase by 1, because they don't really have sub-race options in the book. They mature about the same rate as humans, but they live about 100 years longer, to about 180 years old. Their size is around human size, 5 to 6 feet tall, and they're considered medium creatures, and their base walking speed is 30 feet per turn. They also receive dark vision and Fey ancestry. Next up is the half-orc. So half-orcs are going to receive a bonus to their strength score, to +2 to your strength, and then +1 to your constitution as well. So they reach adulthood around 14 and live to be about 75 years old. They are ranging in size from between 5 feet to 6 feet tall or much taller. They're medium creatures, and their base walking speed also 30 feet. They also receive dark vision, a bonus to intimidation skill, and relentless endurance. So once per long rest, when you are reduced to 0 hit points, you would instead be reduced to 1 hit point. And they're savage attackers, so they also get an additional bonus to their critical hits. Next up, we have tieflings. So tieflings will receive an intelligence score increase by 1 and a charisma score increase by 2. So this will be charismatic. They age about the same as humans, and they live slightly longer. They are also about the same size as humans. They are medium. Their base walking speed is 30 feet. They get dark vision, resistance to fire damage, and an infernal legacy. And those are all the base ones from the player's handbook. But there are plenty of other options as well, kobolds and kinkus and all kinds of things. But that covers the real details in the player's handbook. So now that we've went over some races and we've went over some classes, I hope that gives you a good starting point for trying to pick out what kind of character you want to be. talk with your DM, see what kind of a game and a world that you're going to be playing in. Give them your ideas for the type of immersive character that you want to be, and they'll help you pick out what's best for you. Are you going to be small and mighty or meek and smart? You know, what kind of a character are you going to be? Consider with this, where would you like to be from? What kind of a backstory would you like to have? And maybe let your race and class flow from there. And again, remember to check over things with your DM. They will always be down to help you and make sure that you both understand the character and you're going to get the best roleplay experience when you work with them. So that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed.